What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for joining us on Robert Garcia Unfiltered. We're sorry for the delay. It's been a few weeks. It's been a little hectic trying to get our schedules, together with my dad being in the UK, us over here. We've been training. We've been starting with the guys a lot earlier than usual, but we're back on. We're back on this week to talk a little bit about Bam's performance from this Saturday night. As you guys know, he defended his WBC super flyweight title against Srisaket Sor Rungvisai, one of the best 115 pounds of the last 10 years or so. One of the four kings of the super flyweights, along with Carlos Cuadras, Chocolatito, Gallo Estrada. A very dangerous fight for Bam going into it, but as you guys saw, Bam put on a perfect performance, dominating him rounds 1 through 8, and then getting the TKO stoppage, something that the other guys in the super flyweight division couldn't do. But before we get started, we'll talk a little bit about the undercard. We had a Panterita fighting on the card, won a decision, I think 2-0 now. He fought like 2 weeks ago and they brought him in right away. He got the unanimous decision. Anything else on the undercard that you wanted to talk about besides Ronnie? Because we'll get into Ronnie.
Then what's her name? Macasco won by knockout.
I didn't get to see her though.
So it wasn't, the opponent. I think the opponent's one. It was funny because I think the opponent's one that told Capetillo to stop it, and I think from what I understand, she told him like, I want to go home to my daughter. I want to go home to my family. I don't, so she was scared, so she pretty much told Capetillo to stop the fight. So that's why stopped it. It was pretty interesting because right there I just thought when we were watching the fight in the locker room, I just thought, Capetillo stopped it already. Maybe from what happened last time that he wanted one more round with Berchel. But later on I found out that it was a girl that told him, I want to go home. I want to go home to my family. I want, so pretty much telling him, please stop the fight.
With the original card was supposed to be, Jessica McCaskill on the card. It was supposed to be Julio Cesar Martinez versus McWilliams Arroyo for the WBC flyweight title. They fought once before. I believe it ended in like the second or the third round. Both guys knocked each other down. It was a great fight for the little it lasted. So we were expecting another great fight. But Julio Cesar Martinez, again, like he's done for a few times already. I think it's like the third or fourth time that they've scheduled that fight itself. And he's pulled out of the fight. It happens a lot. He's missed weight a lot. And fight week, I believe, like on Wednesday, we got news that he didn't even make it to San Antonio. He just canceled, said he got sick. We don't know the exact reasons. Could have been weight, could have been a bunch of different things. At this point, you can't really trust him or his team in saying, he really was sick or this or that. You just got to think, because of previous times, that it was just a weight issue. What do you think it is with Julio Cesar Martinez that he keeps doing this?
Well, so many times that it's happened. The only thing that could come to my mind is his discipline. He's from Mexico City, from the rough neighborhoods where I would probably say he's hungry to become a star and to make big paydays and everything. But there's also probably an issue with the discipline, maybe the friends that he hangs around with. You never know, man. In boxing, you never know. That's why, when a fighter fights, and I said it before, when a fighter fights, everybody just watches the fight and are really good to criticize and to there's so many experts on why they didn't win or why they did right and what they did wrong. But people don't know that fighters go through a 2-month camp, at least 2 months, 2.5 months in camp, and a lot of things happen. A lot of injuries, a lot of fighters have weight problems, a lot of issues, with the family, personal issues. So there's so many things that go on, with Martinez, happening so often that the only thing that could come to my mind is his discipline. But he was in camp with Eddie Reynoso, I believe, for this fight. He had a full camp with Eddie, where previously I think he would only come in for the last week or two before the fight. This time around, from what I understand, he had a full camp with Eddie. So I don't know what it was, man. I think with Eddie probably, should be a little more stricter. He doesn't want to burn his reputation. He doesn't want to get a bad reputation. So he, I want to believe that he got sick, like the way they said, he probably did get sick, and he'll be ready for, hopefully they do it soon, because I know McWilliams Arroyo wants it. He deserves it. He earned it. And you know, poor guy, you know, that it sucks. But hopefully they give it to him pretty soon.
With that one being on the undercard of Bam, obviously we've always talked about Bam maybe moving down in weight. So the fact that it was canceled and stuff, kind of, you know, that could have been a possible opponent for Bam, the winner of that fight. So that kind of, you know, we'll talk a little bit more about what's next for Bam and how that played a factor in it. But next was Ronnie Rios versus MJ. Ronnie Rios did most of his camp here at the gym with us. He sparred Bam most of this camp, and for his previous camps, he sparred Bam, Josh, a lot of these guys. So we've known Ronnie for a long time. He got his second chance at a world title, the unified WBA and IBF super bantamweight championship of the world. MJ trains with Joel Diaz and them, you know, strong. He's only, I believe he's only like 10-0, but already a unified world champ. He beat Danny Roman in a very close fight to win the titles. He got the TKO in the 12th round over Ronnie, dropped him with the body shot. What did you think of the fight and you know, the performance that MJ put on himself and, you know, Ronnie?
MJ came out with, you know, with a good game plan. You know, Joel Diaz, Antonio Diaz did a good job with the game plan. They were boxing really good. Ronnie was, I don't know, like the first 6 rounds, I think went to MJ, and that's because Ronnie was being a little cautious too. And MJ was doing enough just to win the rounds in boxing. But then Ronnie Rios started picking it up a little, and I think he won like maybe 2 rounds, after, you know, in the fight, where he landed a few good shots, put pressure a little bit, where we even thought, is MJ maybe getting tired? Because
yeah, we were saying that.
We've seen that before in some of his fights where at the end he kind of fades a little, but it seemed like you know, like he wanted to prove a point, make a point that people were wrong, that he fades at the end. And I think Joel, it looks like they send him in the last round to look for the knockout. Like one of the fighters
in the 12th round, it looked like he was the one that was losing the fight. He
exactly,
came out there like he was losing the fight.
Like one of those fighters that is behind on the scorecards, and the trainer tells him you got to win by knockout to win the fight. So he went out there like, you know, like a monster and like a beast, and went out and put his work and hurt Ronnie pretty bad with a body shot, and then stopped him, you know. So he did what other fighters do when they're behind, you know. The coach tell him, this is the last round and you need a knockout to win. And he came out and he made a statement there, you know, because yeah, a lot of people were already thinking, is he fading? Is because Ronnie won a couple rounds, and in previous fights it seemed like he tires a little, but this time he proved to everybody that, you know, that he still had a lot of energy in the last round and went out for the knockout.
What would you think about a matchup between him and Stephen Fulton for the undisputed title at 122?
It would be a great fight. You know, I think I haven't really paid much attention to Fulton. I seen him beat Pantera. What's his name? Figueroa. Oh no, not Pantera, the brother. What's his name? El baby. Yeah. Babyface.
The Heartbreak Kid or something.
The Heartbreak Kid. Yeah.
Brandon Figueroa.
And he beat him, but it was a very, very close fight. It was a very close fight. So you know what? It's a good matchup. It's a really good matchup. I think both are really good skillful. They both have really good skills. It's a fight that you know, it'll be for undisputed end. So it's even a bigger fight now, you know, for all 4 belts. So I hope to see it. But it's a very close fight. Honestly, that fight will be very close. It's hard to pick a winner.
I would favor Fulton in that. He just has different styles that he could fight. Different, you know, with Figueroa, you saw him fight on the inside, and he did well. I thought he won the fight 7 rounds to 5.
Yeah, he did really well. But the fight was close.
Yeah, you know, and then we saw him against Danny Roman.
Figueroa did a great job.
Yeah, he did. Then we saw him against Danny Roman. He just boxed him, made it look so easy.
I didn't see that one. And then the Roman versus MJ was pretty close too.
He just boxed him and made it look easy. Obviously, styles make fights, not just because he beat Danny Roman easier than MJ did. They're different styles. MJ does have the power that Figueroa and Roman don't have. He has that power that he could knock him out with one punch. He's that kind of, you know, strong guy, especially in the early rounds. He's very dangerous. But I would favor Fulton slightly, but it'd be a great fight.
It will be a great fight. Plus, this for the undisputed. So that's what everybody's.
A lot of undisputed right now.
Everybody's looking for right now, and hopefully we get to see another undisputed champion.
Then we move on to the main event: Bam against Srisaket Sor Rungvisai. Bam just in January won. Was it January, February, right? They won the title. just in February, moves up to 115 pounds against Carlos Cuadras. Dangerous fight itself. He beats him a unanimous decision. Little moments in the fight where he kind of stands in front of Cuadras a lot, takes some punches that he shouldn't have. For his first time going 12 rounds in that fight. And the first time I think going more than 8.
More than 8.
Going more than 8 rounds and picked up the win. As soon as that fight ended, obviously, talks right away of, is he going back down to 12? Is he staying at 112? Is he staying at 115? Who's he going to fight? This and that. And at the gym, we would talk a lot about it. I was always one that was saying that I wanted to see Bam fight at 112 pounds. And then you guys brought up him fighting Sor Rungvisai. Everybody, we were talking about it at the gym before it was signed. I'm the first one to tell you that I did not want him to fight that guy. I kept telling you guys, he just moved up to 115 why would we want him to fight that guy? And then we would joke, you joked at the gym about it, where I told you, I was like, this guy has like 51 wins or something, like 43 knockouts, and you were telling me, yeah, but who's he been knocking out? And I was like, Chocolatito. And then we just started laughing. I was the first one that said, no, let's get back to 112. But you guys kept saying he just won his title. How are we going to vacate it right away? He has to defend it. That's his world title. And Bam thought the same thing. As soon as you guys offered him Sor Rungvisai, he said, yes, let's do it. No hesitation. And he went out there and did what Chocolatito couldn't do, what Gallo Estrada couldn't do, what Cuadras couldn't do. Stopped them in the 8th round. And I think a flawless performance. What did you what did you think of Bam and the way he beat him? Because even you were the one that were saying, yes, I know Bam could beat him. Big G saw little clips of Sor Rungvisai and he said Bam will beat him. Art kept saying it too. I think me and Chepe were the ones that were the most scared. But even you guys didn't think he was going to do what he did. That was a sensational performance.
We also made a few phone calls to some of the people that we know in boxing, and they told us, don't take it. Why do you guys? It's not a mandatory.
Matchmakers
it wasn't
a mandatory. That's what people need to understand. It wasn't even a mandatory.
It wasn't a mandatory. So it's not like we had to fight him. But you know what? The moment that I brought it up to Bam and to Jesse, his dad, they didn't think about it. They said, yeah, let's do it. Why? Because they believe in themselves, and I believe in Bam. Hey, you know how many messages I've been getting from people from ESPN and everything. Remember when he fought on ESPN a couple of times? Twice. I reminded them many times. I think Bam is the best fighter that I have in my gym. And talent-wise, obviously business, higher weight classes are always make.
But that doesn't matter anymore. That doesn't matter anymore. Eddie Hearn's putting.
But that doesn't matter. Yes, exactly. But but even though that was still, Bam was still fighting 8 rounds. And I was said it. And I got a message from one of those guys from ESPN telling me, "Damn, Robert, it makes you look like expert in boxing, because you always told us that Bam was probably your best fighter in your gym." And he says, and this little kid proved it in his last fight. You know what? You were one that was against the fight, and I'm telling you, a lot of people told us, look, a puncher like Rungvisai has 1 punch to land in 12 rounds. Your fighter has to fight perfect for 12 rounds, 36 minutes. That guy just needs 1 fucking second, 1 punch to land and hurt your kid. So why would you even risk them? And
especially his first title defense.
Exactly, and they were right. They do make other people would have never taken that risk. But we know what we got. If we showed Bam that, oh no, Bam, I know you wanted Bam, but no, I'm gonna let me do my. He would have accepted it, but he would have probably doubt that or think, don't they believe in me? When Bam and his dad told me, let's do it, I wasn't gonna cancel that. I knew. I showed my dad a few videos and a few rounds, and my dad said exactly what I said. He's gonna be dangerous the first few rounds, but he's gonna be brave. Mikey actually made some money, I think.
Mikey bet the under on the 10.5 rounds.
We said.
Bayo, Mikey, a bunch of them made money on that.
I said, who else? Bayo did too?
Bayo did too.
We said, he's gonna be landing everything he wants, because that guy's a lot slower than Bam, and he throws nothing but power punches. So we told Bam had 4-inch. I looked everything up. Bam has a 4-inch for reach advantage. So I'm saying we're gonna jab, just land punches over and over. After 5 or 6 rounds, that guy's gonna be taking beatings, and Bam's gonna stop him 8 or 9 rounds. Mikey said it, I said it, we called it, and Mikey put some money on that, and that's what he did. There was a lucky punch. Like the matchmaker that told us, don't do it. One punch. Yeah, but if I have a fighter that's very talented, and I'm gonna be afraid of one punch, a lucky punch. No, Bam already. Everybody's talking about him, maybe being in the pound for pound list already. He's taking the direction that he might be a fighter of the year type of fighter. There's other big fights coming up, that I can't say it's going to be Bam, because there's some great fights coming up in the next few months that or fighters that have already been fighting, unifying
the fact
titles.
that he's already that he's talked about it already shows
Yes.
what all that stuff, and in camp and sparring and stuff. The last weeks that we were that me and Chepe were here with them, what we kept telling him like nonstop was what ended up happening. We would tell him that his jab was the most important thing. He was with his sparrings and stuff, just controlling the rounds with his jab. But we would tell him the first 3 rounds, focus on defense, make him miss, make him start losing his head early, because a lot of the people kept saying that if maybe the first few rounds Bam's going to win them. Bam's going to win the first few rounds because he's going to use his skill, whatever. But as Sor Rungvisai starts to pick it up, that's the typical way to think that, the power
Veteran, experience.
Veteran, he's going to take Bam into the deep waters. But we know in the great shape that Bam was in, that in the deep waters, the Rungvisai wasn't going to be able to keep up with Bam. We would tell him the first few rounds, make a miss, keep turning him, keep pivoting, make him start losing his head and start doubting himself, like, oh shit, can I even land on this kid? And then as the fight goes, then we pick it up. And
that's what I told Bam. I don't know. I think you heard me saying it in the locker room. I told Bam, look, Bam, the first few rounds, you're gonna box, you're gonna fight smart. Even if you're landing everything, don't let everything go. Because I'm sure their plan is to take you into deep waters, thinking you don't have experience, you've never been in that that many times. So I think I believe that was a plan, to take them to deep water. So I told Bam, even if you're landing, don't get too careless where you're gonna take chances. Keep fighting smart, and then break them down little by little. But the good thing is that Bam listens. Bam knows what we're telling him. He believes in his team, and that's exactly what we tell him. That was perfect game plan. He fought great and broke him down and finished him.
I think it works out perfect with the way me, you, and Chepe think about there during the fight, even after the 7th round where Bam started to pick it up and started landing a lot more. Not a single time did me and Chepe think he was going to stop him. Like we were sitting right next to each other. You always get your stool and you're a little bit further from us, but me and Chepe right there. And there was one of the rounds where you would tell him, "Go Bam, go!" Like it looked like he started to hurt him in the 7th round. And me and Chepe are the opposite. We're telling him like, be smart, like don't take too many chances. And then in between rounds, the same thing. We're reminding him like to not and you had more. I guess you had more faith in that Bam could pick it up and he could get the TKO.
But even in between rounds, I don't know which round it was, but it was like in the later rounds where I told him, look, you might go out.
It was after like the 5th round. You told him, Bam, that we're going to go the 12 rounds. This guy could take your punch. Right. After the 7th, during the 7th is when you were like, go Bam, go. And me and Chepe were kind of like, fuck, like be careful. You since the beginning, you had more faith in Bam even stopping them and winning the fight. And I'm not saying that me and Chepe didn't have faith. We would have just taken an easier fight. we would have. I've
never put money on any of my fighters, but Mikey did, because he we talked about it. Payo and people that made some money, because I said Bam's gonna land everything he wants. The first few rounds, we're gonna be breaking them down, and then stop them 8 or 9 rounds. That's what we said. 8 or 9 rounds, we will stop them, and it turned out to be the way we said it. Bam is just a special kid.
The way everybody kept talking about the way that they thought the fight was going to play out, where the first few rounds were going to be Bam's, and then Rungvisai would pick it up. The game plan was completely opposite of that. We're going to let him the first few rounds, Bam just jab him, move him, start, frustrating him, and then pick it up. And he did end up getting the TKO, which honestly, I didn't.
Bam only fighting 12 rounds once. And don't forget that he was getting ready for a 10-round fight against a guy from San Bernardino that, Bam, he didn't train for a world title fight. He didn't prepare. He didn't spar for a world title fight. And they told us a week before the fight, which sparring had already ended. So
we couldn't do anything different anymore. We were ready for what we were ready for.
So we moved up in weight 2 divisions to fight Cuadras and still went out 12 rounds. And yes, Bam told us after the fight, I'm tired. I'm really tired. He was really tired, but he didn't get a preparation for a 12-round fight, for a championship fight against Cuadras. He prepared for a guy that we didn't even know who he was, just a stay busy fight. So training couldn't have been as hard as if we would have known he was fighting Cuadras already. For this fight, we knew who we were fighting, and the experience he learned on the Cuadras fight helped him a lot. It was a good thing that he went out 12 rounds with Cuadras, and now he was ready for 12 rounds. He even if the fight wouldn't have been stopped, he would have still got he would have gone 10 rounds with the same kind of performance. He wasn't going to tire out.
He told us that not at a single point during the fight was he tired. At the Cuadras fight, there was rounds where you could tell where he would come back and he was kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
A little fatigued. Also because of the adrenaline of him fighting for his first title fight, fighting Cuadras, like all this stuff played a factor in it. It just took one fight for Bam to get the experience that a lot of guys take, years to get in one fight.
You know what? The same ESPN guy told me that there's so many champions that have a lot of title defenses, but don't even have the resume that Bam has with his his first 2 title fights.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk on social media and stuff, and I've seen a lot of people. I mean, they put other guys down to kind of like talk good about Bam. Like, look, this guy hasn't. But I mean, everybody has their own path. Everybody's doing their own thing. Bam, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevens, some of these younger guys that are doing a lot of great things at an early age. It doesn't, it's a lot more, it's really impressive, but everybody has their own path. Like, you know what I mean? It's other fighters, they do things, differently. Bam's special.
Yeah, but they're saying that because Bam still went out there
Yeah.
for the knockout. That's why these guys, they continue winning round by round. Bam could have easily done the same. Continue winning round by round and just go out and win 12-round unanimous decision. That's why, because they're doing enough to win and they don't take those chances, which is also smart,
A lot of the comparison with Bam, what you were talking about right now, where they downplay a lot of people's accomplishments to make Bam look better or whatever. There's one comparison that they keep making is like the Lomachenko one. But when Lomachenko first fought, like Salido, he lost the fight. He was kind of like flustered with the way the fight was going. Bam, you never saw that in any of Bam's, he's only 22 years old, and Bam's 2 title fights early on, which you could compare to something like a Salido with this guy and with Cuadras. Not a single time was he like, oh shit, we see other stuff where Loma uses his feet a lot. He'll turn and pivot and stuff, but he does a lot of stuff where he's playing with the guys, where he's like tapping them and taps them on the top of the head, or when the 10-second warning and he hurts his guy, he'll start walking back to the corner and just tell him, oh, next round. Bam doesn't do that shit. Bam will turn, and then he'll try to fucking kill you every time he hits you. If he sees you're hurt, he's not gonna look at the corner and tell the corner, hey, you should stop this fight. Like, he's gonna make sure that the ref stops the fight. You know what I mean? Those are the differences. Come on, we got to stop with that.
Big difference. Hey, and look, Loma's first title up against a similar guy, Salido, a veteran, and he lost. And he's a 2-time gold medalist. He was like 26.
Yeah.
Bam was, had just turned 22 a couple weeks earlier. So it's a big difference.
Yeah. With after this fight now, a lot of talk, and now it seems more reasonable that Bam might, or more favorable that Bam will go back down to 112 pounds. But like I said, the plan originally, I know, was get through this one, maybe Martinez, Arroyo settle their thing, and then we maybe set up a fight against the winner of those 2 by the end of the year. But with that fight being postponed, what's it looking like could be next for Bam?
Well, right now, they want to bring him back to San Antonio before the end of the year, but I would like to get him something before that. We have a good relationship now. Now they'll answer my phone calls. Now the promoter will answer my phone calls. I don't have to go through no
Mikey.
matchmaker or anything like that to be able to get those
Start
guys
directly to the main guys now.
I have to go direct. I could go directly to the main guys now. So we'll figure something out. We have a press conference tomorrow, and I'm gonna see them, and we're definitely gonna have a conversation about Bam. Hopefully, I want to keep him busy. Take advantage of his moment. Everybody knows that in the smaller weight divisions, the purses are not like the bigger guys. Like lightweights, junior lightweights, welterweights. So we want to keep him busy. We want to keep him going. We want to continue fighting. He's young. Hopefully in the next 2-3 days, I'll know something because I have a meeting with him. So we're gonna meet up. So hopefully we get something, and I would like to get him 2 fights before the end of the year.
Yeah, and with him staying as active as he is, he fought in February. He just fought right now. Like you said, you want to get him back maybe sometime, September or something like that. And then again at the end of the year, maybe in December with 4 fights, the next, and especially the last 2 that he had against these tough guys, maybe, something lighter, you know what I mean? Like people can expect, he's not going to go straight into fucking a new way. And you know what I mean? Like there's
always on a different.
I know, but I'm saying like those like Chocolatito and Gallo and all these guys,
Chocolatito's a 115-pounder.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So these, we'll see what's next for
But see, the thing is that after beating Cuadras and now, Rungvisai, even Bam's gonna want something better.
He better not start acting like fucking Mikey though.
Bam.
He's gonna want to fucking move up and weight and fight.
No. He's not gonna move up and weight, but he's gonna want a big fight too. He's not gonna want to get, go into a smaller fight. Now it's our job to work with him and give him what we think is best. So we'll get something going. Hopefully tomorrow I could talk about something and we'll have news soon. But I want to keep him busy. I want him to fight at least 2 more times before the end of the year. Well, not at least 2 more times because we can't do 3. So 2 more times before the end of the year. I know they have plans to bring him back to San Antonio before the end of the year. So I would like something before that. Hopefully we can get him in there somewhere September or somewhere around there. There's plenty of time. He could get back to the gym right away, take a week off, and he could come back to training camp. His brother's going to be in camp, so they could do camp together.
Yeah, that would be perfect. Any news on Joshua Franco versus Gallo Estrada? Because that's also
Eddie himself, everybody, they're saying, because they were talking, because obviously Gallo Estrada is also a name that they bring up for Bam, and Bam always, that's my brother. My brother's gonna fight him, and Eddie did say, Golden Boy is working on that. Let's hope that they do have something pretty soon because Josh it's already been too long since his last fight, already a year. And we need to bring him back and keep him busy and keep going because, he's young, but he needs to fight. And this is a mandatory, so we have to wait. We can't say, oh, fuck this, we're going to go fight somebody else, because he needs, this fight needs to happen. So hopefully in the next few days, week or so, we know something. That way we can start preparing for the fight because as of right now, the fight is going to happen. So let's hope that they make it and give us a date right away.
Hopefully we get something soon for Josh. That does it with everything, guys. Everything that we're going to talk about. We'll try to be getting on a little bit more often. Like I said, it's a little bit tougher with the schedules. But right now that Bam's not here, we won't be starting too early at the gym. So maybe we'll be able to get a few more episodes in the next few weeks. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in Saturday night. If you did and if you didn't, make sure you guys go watch, on DAZN, Bam versus Sor Rungvisai. But yeah, that does it for this week's episode. We'll see you guys soon.